Hey guys, it's Woody the Unexceptional Gamer, and this video is not so much about the gameplay, but instead is about this letter that I got. So, it's not really a Mail Monday type letter, but I want to talk about the game real quick. I'm using the MK14 on bootleg, which isn't a very good map for the MK14, at least in my opinion. This is a close quarters map. This is not a close quarters gun. So what I do is I kind of just control the engagement, do everything I can to make sure I'm behind cover, and then I'm engaging people who are far away from me. And I mostly lock down C domination, because one of the things I do in domination is I look at my little mini map and look at where everybody isn't, and if they're not guarding C, then someone needs to do that. Otherwise, we'd just be giving it away. And if you watch this game, a couple of things, you can see people go after C all the time, and I'm like the only guy there to sort of take care of it. So, call me camping if you will, but I'm really playing the objective. We've got 2 flags, and no one else is watching C, so it's got to get done. And like I said, trying to set things up so that I only fight people who are far away from me. Anyway, that's not what I'm here to talk about. Let's talk about this letter that I got. Respawn Entertainment. COD killers. So I watched a big comm on these guys, the old crew from Infinity Ward, and it seems like they're up to a big project. I haven't spent much time searching through their info. However, they have a blurred screenshot of their games that looks like a jungle with 2 people. Under info from Jason West, they talk about him creating a multi-billion-dollar game, not getting paid for it. Lead best team in the world in the creation of new gameplay experience with Deadies. Deadies on the Xbox. They say they built a new multi-platform IP. Also, they have pictures of motion tracking guys while holding guns. All this is pointing to some new kind of first-person shooter, and it's all funded by EA. I'm interested in hearing more about this if you have anything else on it, even speculation. I think we're all ready for a new first-person shooter experience. So I hope I know something about this that you don't, but here, I'll do my best to fill all these guys in. There's 2 guys, Jason West and Vince Zampella. I hope that's pronounced right. They they were the guys that started Call of Duty franchise, right? They used to be the lead over at Infinity Ward, and they put together Call of Duty 4. I think they put together Call of Duty 2 as well. Forgive me for not knowing their entire history, but they're also responsible for Modern Warfare 2. And everyone's like, oh, these are the guys that did COD 4. We want them back. Don't forget, these are the guys that did Call of Duty 2 or Modern Warfare 2 as well. So be careful what you wish for. But they were working at Infinity Ward, and I guess they felt like they weren't paid properly. In there, I think there's an ongoing lawsuit, but some of the top guys at these gaming companies get a percentage of sales, and they felt like they weren't getting their percentage of sales properly. They were fired for insubordination and something else. Breach of contract. So I think, if I remember the heat of it right, back when this stuff was really going on, they felt like they were being held hostage to create the next game and to support Modern Warfare 2, whereas they felt they should be getting paid for past work. And, eventually sort of broke when they updated their LinkedIn profiles. LinkedIn is like Facebook for professionals. They all network and find new jobs when things go wrong, etc. They updated them to list Infinity Ward as former employees, and all of a sudden the story broke and things went wild and they got fired and whatever. So these guys have left Infinity Ward like 2 years ago now, or 4 years ago now, and no, 2, my bad. And now they're forming a new company, and the whole thing's being funded by EA. So EA is, it used to be that Activision was like the good company, and EA was the one that treated all their developers poorly. And now Activision's the one that's known as treating the developers poorly, and EA is the golden boy. We'll see. I think the truth is there really are no golden boys out there, and they just exchange reputations, much like the Call of Duty franchises do every year, right? Now Black Ops is the golden child, and I promise you, next year people will look back on Modern Warfare 3 and remember it more fondly than they do right now. It's always the way it's been. As far as what's coming in their new game, we don't know. They've been really tight-lipped about it, and I don't have a ton of information. Here's what we do know. We know it's multi-platform, so it's going to run on the Xbox, the PS3, and most likely the PC as well. That's kind of a cool thing, and it needs to be. Can you think of any major game that's not multi-platform? We know it's a first-person shooter, right, and that they're doing some motion capture stuff. If you don't know what that is, you've probably seen the people dress up in like skin-tight suits with ping-pong balls all over them, and it's a way to sort of capture how they move when they do different things like run, crouch, dive, reload, or whatever. And they capture those movements and then they can animate it, by getting that right. Another thing that we know is it's going to be this like sci-fi oriented thing, right? It's supposed to be closer to Gears of War and Halo than Call of Duty. And I think that's kind of nice, right? Everything is doing these modern shooters, and I don't think that anyone's going to beat Call of Duty by being a better Call of Duty than Call of Duty, right? I think it needs to beat Call of Duty by doing its own thing better than anyone else. So yeah, I like the idea that they have with doing a sci-fi shooter, right? Because you can only go two directions. I think there's only two in my head. You either go ahead in time or you go back in time. And frankly, like, even World War II weapons aren't that interesting to me. And if you were to go further back, like, can you imagine, for you Americans, like a Revolutionary War type thing? Like, seriously, what kind of fun am I going to have with muskets? Like, I just don't see it. Single shot pistols. I think you need to go sci-fi, just like they're doing. And with that, there's like unlimited kind of fun, you know? You can put shields on them and have them take whatever health you think is appropriate. This guy's looking for me. I'm looking for him. You can... You know, you can say that the weapons kill in one shot. You can say the weapons kill in 9 shots. There's a lot of flexibility out there when you go sci-fi because it's not really all that defined and no one's going to fuss at you for being realistic. We also know its release date, but it's given a really big, like, you know, gap there. It's supposed to come out between April 2012, which obviously it won't because that's in like 3 days, and March of 2013. What they're doing is they're looking for an opportunistic window, and I think that's a pretty interesting concept too, right? So probably Battlefield won't be coming out in November because it's not an annual series like Call of Duty is. Do you want to release right next to Call of Duty if you're a guy like this? Typically, every Christmas, Call of Duty just sucks the oxygen out of the room, right? It has all the excitement that people are interested in. Maybe you do a Borderlands-like thing from 2 years ago and release in the late summer. I think that came out in like July or August, and they literally couldn't keep it on the shelves. I can't remember another game where they couldn't stock enough CDs or DVDs or whatever they are, Blu-ray discs, because, you know, it was just selling so much. And that's because everyone was sort of thirsting for a new shooter, and it wasn't November yet. So maybe they'll target that. Maybe they'll come right before Christmas. We'll see. My bet is that they do kind of a Battlefield thing and come out a couple weeks, but still try to capture the Christmas, a couple weeks before COD, but still try to capture the Christmas thing. So Respawn Entertainment working with EA, coming out with a new shooter, and they're trying to be the next Call of Duty killer. And these guys have a little more credibility than some of the other companies that try to be Call of Duty killers because they wrote Call of Duty. So anyway, that's what we know. I'll keep you informed as the news sort of breaks, and I hope you enjoyed the video. There'll be a link in the description to vote for me for King of the Web. It's all the money goes towards charity. Here, consider this your daily reminder. 2 videos you may have missed. The top one is Let's Microwave Soap, which was pretty interesting. I mean, there's my daughter in it. A lot of guys seem to like my daughter, which just has me a little bit uneasy. And the bottom one is about 402, the community manager for Infinity Ward, resigning, and he's done. So also the top video has this thing with Gamma Labs where you can win an opportunity to hang out with like your favorite YouTuber or pro gamers or something like that. Free flight, hotel. And anyway, watch that video, check it all out. You might like it. Have a good day.